It's going to give me a countdown.
So
Well,
fancy.
so it's crazy to think about it now, but when I worked at GE, like they would do their flu shots as part of like a mass inoculation drill. Like it was a practice with the Department of Health in case they had to vaccinate like everyone in their families for a pandemic.
Oh
And that
wow.
was like back in like 2012, 2013. And, it was nice. They had it set up on a Saturday. You like pull in, you drive through, you sign the form, you stick your arm out your car window, they stick you, and then they give you some gift cards and say, go on your way. Um, but like, back then it was like mass inoculation drill. Like, who's going to need that? And it's like, oh, how
Yep.
naive you were, 23, 24-year-old Matt. Uh, you know,
Wow.
had I known that in 6 years the entire, social order would be upended for a good 15-month period.
Yeah, really. Fucking nuts.
Uh,
Yeah.
anyway,
Yeah.
that's
Prescient.
just me vaxing,
Vaccine.
waxing poetic. Yes,
I
waxing poetic.
like
The
that.
reason we're talking about this is because I have COVID. I guess I still have
You
it,
are
right?
recovering
So
from COVID? Yeah.
I'm recovering. Yeah, I'm past the bad stages of COVID. So in recovery, still testing positive, hoping to be out of it ASAP. But I'm relying on you guys to carry us tonight because my energy is low.
Yeah.
But people have missed us, so that's why we had to come back.
We'll carry our weight, right? So the biggest thing, right? Like, so you said you may or may not have a fever still. So what the CDC says, if you're vaxxed and it's been 5 days since the onset of symptoms and you don't have a fever, you may still test positive, but you can be out in the world with a mask. You should no longer be super contagious. So hopefully you're going to get there soon. Now that's like CDC guidance from 6 months ago. I haven't. It's kind of amazing how things just like myself included. I am guilty of this to the extreme. Like, oh yeah, COVID's a thing. Like, COVID's still out there. Like Ethan and I, to segue, we were at a ball game on Saturday night, and I will call out I was sitting next to a douchebag, not Ethan, but I was sitting next to a douchebag
They
who
already
was
know
like,
that I'm a douchebag, a different one, a new one.
I mean, you're a selective douchebag, and I love you for it. So
Right, that's right.
like be a douchebag all you want to billionaires, it's fine. But this guy was like firmly like, I'm gonna put my knees out as wide as I can, and then he was also like a armrest Nazi. So just like
Yeah, and these seats
arm,
are fucking
forearm,
narrow, you know.
yeah, but forearm on the armrest, elbow into my seat, and I just like I told Ethan halfway through the game, I just decided, well, I'm not skinny, so we're just gonna touch all night. So you want to be like that? Fine, get to know my love handles and side ribs because I'm not moving. Um,
I fucking hate people like that. It's just like the height of selfishness and like obliviousness and just like self-centeredness. I just
No,
fucking hate
well,
it.
he wasn't oblivious. He knew what he was doing because anytime he had to stand up and then sit back down because of people walking by, he was always the first down. Like it was like a
Oh,
race.
what a
He knew what he was
fucker.
doing. He had to
What a
replant. Like fuck that guy on a long haul air flight. Like I just
yeah.
I would like find the gassiest thing I could and just just lean over and just
Annihilate him.
uh,
I
retaliate
like I
as
like it. I like it.
you know.
Yeah, how was the game? Tell us where were you? Who won? What was the highlight?
Well,
I know everything,
right, of
but
course. Matt was on the lookout for tickets, and he found a great deal on fucking front row seats at Camden Yards, and so we snatched those things up, and we sat in the front row for me it was the first time in a very long time. I think I only did it once ever when I was like a kid out in Colorado, but it was awesome, as you can imagine, super fun. First base side, a little bit past the dugout, a little past first base. But great seats, great view. I did not get any food this time. I was too traumatized after last time, so I can't report on whether the French fries have been improved or not. I couldn't do it. But great game. It was chilly, but as long as you
Did
were,
we already tell people that you returned to Camden Yards? Did we already talk about that?
well, I mean, I just mentioned it right now. What do you mean?
Well, you didn't actually say can you didn't actually say it.
Didn't I? Did I not? I thought I just said it.
I don't know. That's why I'm
Oh,
asking. I
yeah,
have COVID brain.
we were at Camden Yards in Baltimore. Yeah, maybe I didn't say that. So yeah, Yankees and Orioles. And so yeah, my first time back since the incident last year with the, was it last year, Matt?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
French fries that needed some Viagra.
Yeah. Oh my God, they needed more than that. I mean, they needed like a whole world's dosage. You know, they didn't need like a single person's dosage. And also a fucking, like, I don't know, a microwave. I would have, even though they would have been like soggy, and I hate that. Like, if they were warm, I mean, goddamn, at least like one thing would have been salvageable. There was nothing salvageable about those fucking fries. Anyways, this game was great. We got to see a Yankees win, and we got to see Giancarlo Stanton hit a line drive homer, 116 miles an hour. That you saw it get hit, and you blinked, and then it was in the bleachers, pretty much.
And not only that, it was well over their extended left field. So to me, it was a nice big middle finger to the Baltimore Orioles.
So
And
yeah, it was. I thought it was a great game. Matt, what'd you think?
so my one complaint is we were one section beyond like the club sections with the padded seats, and what that did, the seats were fine. Like my butt was fine, but the club section was 2 rows extended further toward the field. So while we were in the front row, when Ethan was looking at home plate, if anyone in the first 2 rows of the section to our left got like a beer or anything like that, it was blocking Ethan's view. That was my
That's
one
true.
complaint.
That was the one
So
downside. That's true.
yeah, that was just not a good sight line for home plate action, but really cool game. Really, really poor heckling. I'd say there was better heckling of the hecklers than there was actual heckling. Like the Baltimore Orioles fans, I mean, not granted, this is the first time they've had an exciting baseball team in a long time, so maybe they're not used to it. Maybe they're used to like Lamar Jackson, and I don't know,
OBJ now.
and
Oh, is
who,
that
what
right?
else is? Yeah, he got signed for 18 million.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Um, but there was a Yankees fan that every time this really loudmouth, obnoxious Baltimore fan would like criticize the umpire, like, "Come on, Hope, that was inside." The Yankees fan would like yell out, "Yeah, we can totally see the strike zone better than you."
Yeah, that's always been one of my biggest pet peeves. Maybe I don't know if I talked about this on the pod. I know I've told you guys, but like it still blows me away every time when you're on like the fucking first base. I mean, it doesn't matter where you are in the ballpark, right? Honestly, even if you're right behind home plate, you can't. A regular old fan isn't going to be able to tell. Like these pitches are going so fucking fast. No regular fan is going to be able to tell. But it's even more ridiculous when you have people on the fucking like first base, third base sidelines who are getting mad about strikes and balls. Yeah, you can see the height. Okay, that's fine. But where it is on the plate, you have no fucking clue, and that's kind of an important aspect of this. And so when you get people complaining, I'm just like, how fucking dumb are you? Like, what? That pitch could be 2 feet outside. You have no fucking clue from this angle. You literally don't. Ugh, insane.
But I mean, aside from that, like the heckling was weak.
Yeah.
Seats were good. Action was pretty good. We saw Johnny Brito
Mm-hmm.
have his second ever major league start. And aside from the first inning where he got into some trouble, but you can't really blame him too much. Like one of like the main action kind of run scoring hit or action causing hit actually was a bouncer that hit him in the thigh and deflected. Like it was just a weird play that if he wasn't there, the shortstop probably would have scooped it up and taken care of the play pretty easily. But I mean, aside from that, it was a pretty good. We saw Volpe hit a triple. We saw Giancarlo hit his line drive laser of a home run.
How far did
Um,
that go? Like 483, something like that.
483, yeah, and it was. I mean, it was one of those. Obviously, this isn't the case, but it seemed like it was still going up as it hit the bleachers. Like it was just a. It was a holy shit. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah, and the replay was hilarious. I mean, it was one of those ones, and G always just he kills these when he connects. It was one of those meatballs,
yeah,
like the
93 middle. It
yeah,
was.
like the pitcher
It was
just fucked up.
hilarious.
Yeah, the pitcher
Yeah.
just fucked up bad, and G just you like watch the replays, and he has just like such an amazing swing when you watch that, and oh god, it's just incredible to see and really cool in person. And I wanted to add one thing to the Volpe thing. So yeah, we saw Volpe hit a triple, his first career extra base hit. Now, I don't want to get too carried away. We don't know what he's going to end up being, but it could be that he becomes a star, and that could be a pretty big deal. And it could be something as memorable as like when me and Kyle saw Mike Trout in 2012 in his rookie year go 3 for 5 with a double and I don't know, a couple runs scored, whatever. We got to see Trouty during one of the greatest rookie years of all time. It'd be cool if Volpe ends up really becoming the star that we're hoping, and we got to see his first career extra base hit. So we'll see.
Yeah, and he was 5 feet away from a home run. He hit the panel, in right field in Camden Yards is the big out of town scoreboard, and he hit the very edge of the panel before the wall drops down to normal height. So 6 feet to the left, and it would have been a home run. So he was hustling right out of the box though, so it was not a close play at third, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, really fun.
Mm-hmm. And I will say, Ethan did get good French fries. It just wasn't at the stadium. We met at a brewery before, and they had quality French fries there, and Ethan had a very excellent burger, I will say.
It was fucking delicious.
Called the Oklahoma burger. Ethan was like, I was looking up before they smashed the onions right into the burger patty, and I was like, oh, yeah, that's good. Good choice.
Yeah,
good choice.
I'm really into that, yeah. Yeah, for anybody in the Baltimore area or whoever goes there, there's a place called Wet City, and solid beer, and the food was delicious. Matt, you really liked your chicken sandwich too, right?
Oh, excellent. Perfectly cooked. Oh, hi, Toddy.
Hey, Toddy. Yeah, and great fries. Really good fries at this
Really good fries. Good combination of crispy and flavor.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, so that was great.
So
and
then
do
garage beers?
Yeah, of course.
We did garage beers. Yep, the only tradition I like.
We can do that in Colorado, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You think I'm not going to have beer?
Well, I don't know. I didn't know what the setup was going to be, and I just got like my hopes really high, and then I was like, shit, what if we can't do it?
Oh, we'll figure out a way to make it happen.
We'll figure it out, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I already planned on bringing a sandwich into the game. We can bring sandwiches into the game, so.
Cool.
Yeah, we'll definitely do
that. Coors has a brewery inside it, but we will do some sort of garage beer or parking lot beer or something.
Yeah.
So that was like Citi Field, right? Where they had the brewery?
Yeah.
It's closed now, right? You said?
Yep, it's gone.
Wow. I liked that. It was jammed.
Yeah. We probably didn't need to go, but I know Ethan was tired and cranky. I had drank already enough that day. Right.
When is Ethan not tired and cranky?
I mean, I'm not as tired and cranky these days because of pills. Back then that was pre-pills. So that was 100% of the time tired and cranky. Now it's like 97. So that's pretty. A 3% improvement is really pretty spectacular when you think about it.
Well, I will, to give Ethan credit, he was a good sport and sat through while Colin and I drunkenly downed a couple more beers at the McKellar inside Citi Field.
He got Papa John's out of it afterward.
Oh, is that right? I
don't remember that?
I vaguely remember this.
Drunk Matt ordered way too much Papa John's.
Okay, yeah, I am picturing this in the hotel room, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, that was fun. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. You know what? Yeah, I'll go around with. I'll go along with most things probably if free pizza is promised to me afterwards. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
That was a good trip, though. Ethan and I did bring that up, right? Because I reminded him, like, hey, remember that was Stephen Colbert sang the national anthem?
Yeah.
Like, what?
Like they had the snipers up on the.
Oh my god! Yeah. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I forgot about that too.
Fucking nuts!
Oh shit!
Yeah, Stephen Colbert. Wow, and none of us knew beforehand, right? It was like
no. It was like we looked up at the board, like, oh, that's Colbert.
Yeah,
some other guy.
Mm-hmm.
I just remember looking and I'm like, why are there snipers coming out? This is so weird.
Yeah. Wow.
We were probably already a little drunk at that point, and
because we had gone to Rudy's for that game, right?
No, that was Jeter's.
No.
Oh, that was Jeter's game. We went to Rudy's. Okay.
Which, by the way, so I was in New York City. 3 or 4 weeks ago. Yeah. And went to my lovely girlfriend recommend. She found a good sweet spot golden area restaurant, right? Delicious ethnic food that has both vegan and non-vegan options. And not only was it ethnic food, it was ethnic fusion food. So it was called Taco Mahal.
Ah,
So it was,
fun.
yeah. So I got like this like lentil and rice bowl with like chicken tikka masala or something like that in there, and she got
Mm.
some 3 different vegan Indian food tacos. Um, and we both had Indian beers and like um, curry fries, and very
In,
good little hole in the wall place.
Indian beers.
Yep.
I didn't even know that was a thing. Is it just like Pilsners, like their version of Pilsner?
Yeah, just lagers and pilsners. They were skunked. I mean, they were pretty far. They traveled a long way to get here, but it was good.
Okay.
Um,
That's
but
cool.
as we were walking up, I was like, I think I know where we are. I think I think that's the dive bar that we went. I think it's a famous dive bar because there was a bunch of guys taking a picture out in front of it, and I started looking it up. And yep, we walked by Rudy's. But I started like I told the story. Hey, cheap beers, like you shouldn't to this day still be able to get a pitcher of beer in New York City for $14 and free hot dogs. Like there's something wrong with that. And so I started looking up what Rudy's Amber and Rudy's Locker are, and they won't say who brews it,
Oh.
which is crazy and it's kind of weird and kind of scary. So there's all these theories out there about like, oh, they just buy bad batches of beer from other places, or like it's just they mix all of their like Budweiser and Miller kegs together. you know, I don't know what the actual story is, but it didn't make me feel great. And it took me back to that day where I just had the worst headache. We didn't even.
Yeah.
I think we had 3 pitchers over a 3 hour period. Like
Yeah, it
we
wasn't like
drank a
anything
lot,
crazy.
but we were there a while.
Yeah.
But I just
Yeah.
remember sitting in that game and being miserable.
Well, it could have just
Yeah,
been
because we were.
dehydration, right?
No, because we bought water when I got in the stadium.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because I got
Was that
that.
the only water you had? Did you have water before that?
I'm assuming we did. This was just terrible. Anyway,
All I know is
but
that I would drink, if I'm remembering correctly, I liked that Rudy's beer better than fucking Bud Light. Like I would drink it over Bud Light any day.
well, we got the lager, we got
Yeah.
the amber, and then we got a. I remember I got a Sam Adams Oktoberfest pitcher because I wanted something that was real beer.
I do remember that now. Yeah.
And just for the listeners out there, right? This is the place that has like the U-shaped, like old style diner tables that are like made out of that vinyl leather, except like the U-shaped booth, like if it was red vinyl that the booth cushions were made out of, it was covered with like red duct tape to like fix it. Do you guys remember that? Like the cushions were pretty much just all duct tape.
Oh, okay, I don't remember.
And that's I still vividly remember like, okay, like this is where we're gonna be, but the beer's cheap, so we're good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that was a fun time. That was okay. Yankees Mets City Field 2018. DeGrom Tanaka, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That's right. We were talking about that. Okay. Yeah.
G also hit a home run that day.
Did
Yep.
he? Oh, I don't remember that. Okay.
I think Guardy did too.
G's, it was like it barely snuck over the left field corner.
Okay.
Oh right, yeah, because they had just changed the field, right?
Yeah.
Or something like that year.
It was like an excuse me home run. I think was it McNeil hit a home run too
Yeah,
for the
that sounds
Mets.
right. Yeah.
Okay.
Tanaka pulled both his hammies tagging on a fly ball.
Thank God we don't have to see that shit
Oh
again.
my God. Yeah.
God. Who was
Anyway.
it? Ching Ming Wong
Broke his foot.
got injured too, right?
Rounding the third base in Arizona.
How do you break your foot rounding third base? What happened to it? I don't remember.
Just
Hit the
it
corner.
awkwardly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus.
It's like anything else. If you haven't built up a callus for it or a muscle for it, like
Yeah.
and you hit it real hard,
Right.
it's
Okay.
gonna
Yeah.
fuck you up.
Yeah, I guess. All right. Fair enough.
Can I say that I want to say 2 things about baseball? I have next week. I want to get deep on some stuff about the Yankees. But while I have some energy, I want to first say that I will never on this podcast ever be cool about talking about the Tampa Bay Rays. Ever. Never.
You're like Joe and Mike about the Yankees. That's your version.
Okay, really quick. They're good. But look at who they've played.
Yeah.
Okay, they've played the Nationals. They're playing the Red Sox right now. Who else did they beat?
Tigers, I think, was one.
Tigers, and some other bottom dweller.
Oakland.
Oakland.
Maybe I might be right.
It was Oakland.
Yeah.
So like they're playing, the East Syracuse Manoa JV Athletics. Like, I mean, right? I think
Yeah.
of course they won. Of course they have the biggest run differential in the league right now. Like,
Yeah, they're playing absolute garbage teams. Yeah.
now the one scary thing is they're hitting a boatload of fucking home runs. But
Well, and Wander Franco is healthy this year.
yeah,
And you guys, I think people forget because last year, did he like miss all of last year?
he missed a good chunk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think people forget that like before
He's
that,
like 22.
yeah, he's super, super young. And before that, when he came up, he played like most of a season, I think, in 2021 or whatever. And he was fucking amazing as a 20-year-old. And also, he was like the hottest shit prospect going for like quite a while. And the expectations for him were sky high. And now he's back and now he's healthy. So it's like, that's also not that surprising that we're seeing this like young budding superstar do his thing. And you can imagine that would also have an effect, And actually, that's one thing. I mean, obviously, we hate the Rays, not to Colin's level, but it will be fun, I think, just from a baseball standpoint, to see what Franco does this year.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry, Colin. I'm drinking a beer called Hazy Rays. I'm sorry.
That is totally coincidental.
Yeah.
The craziest thing about their start, they did win again today because the Red Sox are terrible.
Yeah, they suck too.
So the Rays have 12 wins. The Yankees have 8. So, 4-game difference this early in the season is I guess a big deal in some ways, but I'm like, it's not like they're buried.
Yeah, the crazy thing is, so Michael Kay said this after the game today. This is only like the fourth or fifth time ever that the Yankees have won their first 4 series to start a year.
Oh, yeah. Wow. That's not
so they're off to a great start. They're at a 667 winning percentage right now, but they're 4 games behind because no one can muster up the cojones to beat the Rays.
Yeah, but let's also just like everybody listen. I get it because it's the beginning of baseball season, and us 3 are like this too. Everybody's all super excited. It's the beginning of the season. Blah 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 blah. Everything is great. There's 150 more games. Okay,
Ethan, there's 148. We are 10% of the way.
Aren't the
through
Rays
the season.
12-0? Aren't the Rays 12-0?
Yeah.
Yeah. So 150
I
more
did
games
my
for them.
I did my math wrong. Shit. Well,
150 more games. Yeah. The fucking dumbass musician is the one who did the math right. Thank you very much. I don't know what are the Yankees. I don't know how many games they've played, but I know the Rays have played 12. There's 150 more
Yankees
games.
have played 12.
Okay.
For some reason, I thought we played 4 4-game series instead of 4 3-game series.
Anyways, point being, regardless of where we're in that vicinity, we know this thing is a fucking marathon, and we know that the Yankees, up until about the All-Star break last year, were on like a historic pace, and that fell apart big time. Like, it's just
they still won 99 games.
Still won 99 games. That's because they were that fucking good in the first half. But like, it's just such a long season, and so when people get like so into it at this point, it's April 12th. like so much can change, and it's cool. Like, it's exciting to see a team start 12-0 because it's so rare. It's cool to see the Yankees win their first 4 series because apparently that only happens like very rarely, but so early. Kyle?
Well, and the reason I brought up the Rays is because I do have it's a little bit of a teaser for next week to not talk about the Rays again, but to talk about finally, Ethan, I would like to talk about relegation, and I would also like to talk about tanking.
Yeah.
And because I have a few thoughts that are kind of related to all of that. But
hell yeah.
My other baseball thought that I just wanted to get out quickly. I know they lost to the Mets today. I think they actually lost 2 out of 3 to the Mets, but I watched them on Sunday night against Atlanta, and I am all in on the San Diego Padres being the best team in the National League.
Yeah,
you are. They are good. Yeah.
I mean, if those guys can all play up to their ability, I mean, fuck, what's the top 4? Bogarts, Soto, Machado, and then Tatis when he comes back?
Comes back, yeah.
Right. If they all play up to like 95% of their ability or whatever, I mean, that on its own is fucking disgusting.
They had Machado mic'd up for the on the 3rd inning of the Sunday night games. They always have somebody mic'd, and the first week it was Trey Turner. Last week it was Manny, and they were talking about like Manny playing third and Bogarts, and he's like we got like 4 shortstops out on the field right now,
Yeah.
and everything, and I'm like, yeah, you guys are fucking athletic and good, and they have some pitching. Like I think it's East Coast bias thing. Like I usually don't watch them, and I don't pay much attention to them, but I know they got to the NLCS last year. I'd
Yeah.
be all in on them getting to the World Series this year.
Yeah, I think it just depends on the pitching, right? Like if Snell and Darvish can really pitch as like a true 1 and 2, then that goes a long way to making that happen, I think, right?
Yeah.
And who else? Did they got like
Yes.
Joe Musgrove or whatever, who's pretty good? Is he still on their team?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think
so.
he's good too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if I wasn't already planning on going somewhere Memorial Day weekend, I'd be going to New York City to watch them. But I guess
Well, that's why we got to see if they're going to come to Baltimore or DC. I mean, I'm sure they're coming to Baltimore or DC at some point. So we got to see
it's a balanced schedule. They're going everywhere.
Right, exactly. So we got to see when they're coming, and maybe we can swing it.
But it'd be cool to see them play in New York.
That would be cool. Yeah. And actually, while we're talking baseball too, one other thing I wanted to add, reflection on the game that me and Matt went to on Saturday. Obviously, our first game in person with the new rule changes, and I know we both liked it. I loved it. I thought it was great. Matt, I don't know if you liked it as much as me, but I mean, I think you were.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, perfectly happy with it, right? There's not quite as much leisure time, right? So like when you're in person, part of the fun of like an in-person baseball game is, it's so leisurely and you have your beer and your nachos and you hang out and you chat with your friends and everything. And there's not as much of that, but like there's still 15, 20 seconds between every pitch. Like it's still a very leisurely paced game compared to lots of other sports. And it moves. I mean, it was under 3 hours. And it's not one of these like fucking slog fests where you're spending 4 hours at the ballpark. And then both of us, I mean, in this case, and this goes for a lot of fans too, right? A lot of fans have to drive to go to a game. They're driving 45 minutes or an hour or more or whatever. And then if you're talking about a 3.5, 4 hour game in between that, it's such a massive time investment, and it's difficult for a lot of people to do, right? So yeah, I thought it was great in person, great on TV.
We booked it out of there at 9:45.
Yep.
As we were walking, we were back to the parking garage by 9:55.
Yep.
And I was heading on 95 north by 10 o'clock.
Yeah, amazing. Yep, fucking love these.
And
love
on the flip
changes.
side, of all that, well, I don't know if that's the right term to use, but like, so for you guys know, I've been a Lakers fan forever, and one of the best parts about basketball is like, it's a 2.5 hour commitment. Like, even if the Lakers, who most of the time start at 10:30 Eastern time, then it's like, okay, I know like by midnight-ish, I'm going to be in bed. Game's going to be over. And I don't stay up as often, now these days, but, back in the day. But like now I could like realistically say like, okay, Ohtani's pitching a big game against, somebody out in Anaheim, and be like, all right, I'll sacrifice this one night because I know that the game's going to be over between 12 and 12:30 versus like, maybe it'll be over by 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Exactly.
Prior to this year.
100%. Yep. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know if this was intent, but it almost felt like there was enough time to have a good conversation between pitches, but not enough time to get your phone out, which was great.
Yeah.
Great.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to look at my phone because I felt like I was going to miss what was going on, which is perfect.
Yeah. It's
if you're there, you want to be there.
Yeah, I really think they found a sweet spot with the clocks and everything. I think it's great.
Now, one negative. I remember first inning, Ethan ran up to the bathroom when he got back. They already were starting the second inning. Not a lot of time for the bathroom.
Yeah, that's true.
But that
I went fast. I sprinted. I took a quick piss and ran right back. But you know what? That's still a good thing. Like the in between innings it feels shorter. I mean, they're putting a clock up in the stadium like 2 minutes and 10 seconds or something in between innings. And so, I mean, shit, I feel like that's better for the people there in person and on TV if the commercial breaks are shorter. I don't know if they officially are or not, but it felt that way. I don't remember there being a 2-minute clock.
They're not actually shorter.
Okay.
Come on. MLB wouldn't tell its corporate overlords that they're going to shorten their commercials.
Yeah, that's true.
I think like a few years ago they actually did shorten the time between innings. If I'm remembering correctly, it
Okay.
makes no sense, obviously, because Matt, I would 100% agree with what you just said, but I'm almost positive in an attempt to speed up the game, that was one area where they were like, okay, one less commercial or something like that.
Well, so now can you see this happening? Like, oh, if at the end of the year they go, oh, hey, the average baseball game is now 2 hours and 40 minutes. Let's make it a flat three and increase commercials. Do you think they'd
Oh,
do that?
oh, I could see it happening. Now that you say it, I'm terrified it is going to happen.
Uh, fuck you, Rob
Well, if
Manfred.
it's in between innings, though, that's not the worst thing in the world. But
Ye-
I think there's so much enthusiasm and support and goodwill right now
Yeah.
for the time. Like this is it. This is like what our parents.
Yeah, exactly.
This is what they watched. And so I think there's like something to be said about. And it's okay. Like let's be real. This is not like they just threw a dart and hoped it stuck. Like they've been testing this in the minor leagues and everything.
Yeah.
So they knew when they were ready to roll this out because they were like, we can't fuck this up because if we fuck it up, we're never going to be able to do it. Like nobody's going to take it seriously. So they got it right. And I saw a headline about this, and I don't know how you guys feel about it, but somebody was like, maybe we should start giving some due to the commissioner here for some of the moves he's made.
No, no, I was going to say Manfred might have actually gotten something right.
Yeah, but you know what? I don't know. How much do we think Manfred actually did other than just like okaying all of this?
Hey, if we're going to blame him for everything that happens, you got to give him credit for when good things happen that are good.
I will give him credit for okaying this. Sure.
He did bring in Theo,
He did bring in Theo, and I think okay, I'll give him
and
credit for
Theo's been
bringing
a
in.
big driver for these
Right.
changes.
Yeah, exactly. I know that. So yeah, okay. Manfred gets credit for bringing in Theo and for being willing to make the changes that I assume Theo has been, because we know the bases were a big Theo thing. I'm assuming a lot
Yeah.
of this is big Theo stuff, and so yeah, we can give a tiny bit of props to Manfred for that. Okay, that's all I'm willing to do. Tiny.
All right, now let's go for robot umps.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
was literally just thinking that. Let's go.
It's
I'm
I
ready.
feel bad because that's like so many jobs that are gonna disappear and like there is something cool. Well, I mean, actually
No, no,
wait,
no,
no.
no.
They were gonna
The
keep
umps
a
are
home
still going to be
plate
on the
ump, weren't
field.
they?
Yeah,
Yeah, they were
everyone's going
gonna
to stay
keep
on the field.
everybody, like every single ump.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't gonna cut
Because
anybody.
you still need
It's
say there's
just
a play at the
it's just
plate,
for the
right?
home
Right, the
plate
plays at
ump.
the plate. So the robot was just for the strike zone.
Yeah, so it would literally
That's right. That's
be
right.
like
Yeah.
a headset or something that he get like beep in one ear for a strike or beep beep in the other ear for a ball. That's it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that should have happened yesterday then. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but like
But
imagine if you could cut out right, like yes, variability is part of the game, but
mhm.
like what if you could cut out the 45 at bats that Judge gets taken away from every year because he gets two strikes called in him below his knees outside the zone.
Yeah, exactly right.
That, and
Nope.
I'm not even faulting the umps for that, right? Aaron is a freakishly large guy.
Yeah, and that's a hard fucking
They're
job.
calling pitches that are going to be a strike to 99% of other people in the league, but not to number 99 when he steps in the box.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, that was a good turn of phrase right there. Nice job.
Came up with that one right on the spot.
I am turning this off now.
Can't get any better, guys. It's done.
Oh man, but no, yeah, that's a great point. That's a great point, and not only that, but it would also eliminate all of the arguing that, from the managers. It would eliminate a bunch of ejections, and all that's also a bunch of like wasted time too. You can just streamline so many things by doing that. So hopefully, yeah, hopefully that's coming
Now,
sooner
the
than later.
one caveat with all of that is even when you think you have systems and order in place, as we saw in the Yankee
Yeah,
game today,
true.
things can still get so royally fucked up.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, crazy, just crazy.
They
That
won.
they won. That's true. They won.
In spite of everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't remember the last. I mean, I can't think of an example. I don't know if you guys can, but without going into all the details of everything because it was so weird, we know that essentially what happened is the umpires ignored the rules. They just did not follow the rules, and the way that they kind of made decisions, it benefited the Guardians in a huge way. I cannot remember a time ever where the umps just like blatantly just like didn't do what the rule was supposed to do. Do you guys remember? I mean, my memory's not as good. I don't know if you guys remember something.
No, the only analog I could think of was it the NFL game where there was something with a field goal, right? Where it hit it went, maybe it was a Browns game, a Phil Dawson field goal, where the ball actually went through the uprights and like it bounced on the back post and then bounced out of the uprights, and they called it no good, but they ended up reviewing it. Something where a field goal shouldn't have been reviewed, but it was because they saw it on the
big screen.
On the big screen, and they shouldn't have, but they did, and they got and Michael Kay was good to say, hey, right, like the goal is to get the call right every time, but then why do you have a 15-second rule if that's going to be the case, right?
Yeah.
So for the listeners out there, right, game-changing play at the end of the first inning. It looks like the center fielder makes a spectacular catch and then doubles off the runner at second.
Not just any center fielder. Aaron Hicks, who had 3 very similar plays all in the first inning.
Yeah.
So it looks like he makes the catch. It really, like, it hits his glove first, but then it bounces off the ground and he, like, scoops it up. Bang, bang play, looks like he catches it. Doubles off the runner at second, inning over. And then, let's say a minute later, as the fans are being rowdy, the Progressive Field video board attendant plays the replay on the board, and you see that it actually is not a catch, and they allow Tito to review the call, to challenge the call at that point, and after which it's overturned, and the Guardians score 2 runs in the first inning.
And the rule is that you have 15 seconds to make your challenge after the play, right? You've got 15 seconds, and not only that, but you have to hold your hand up so the umps know that you have people looking at the replay really quickly and you're thinking about it. Tito did none of that, right? And Colin was actually watching in real time. I only got it on after it already happened and Booney was still just screaming at the umps. But for like another 5 minutes, like he kept going, and I had already turned it on like a couple minutes after Colin had already like updated us on everything going on. It was really quite something. But like, and this is not to bash on Tito or anything like that, right? Like by all accounts, he's a great guy. He's clearly a great manager. Like, a manager is making a split-second decision, and it's a difficult job. He did not put up his hand. He did not do the challenging thing. He did not do it the way that the rules say you have to do it. And then the umps went ahead and just granted the challenge anyways and overturned it. And it was just, I mean, wow.
It's meaningful to Boone because he was, I remember correctly, I think he was ejected once or twice last year for failure to challenge within the right amount of time. Like he was trying to call for, I want to say it was toward the beginning of last year because everyone was talking about how tactically bad Boone was. Like one of the times, probably myself in this chair was saying that he's not good enough to be the manager because he screwed up a challenge.
I'm going to keep backing Booney. Yeah, I'm going to keep backing him.
Well, to tie this back to what we were talking about with the umpires, the one thing that Jack Flaherty said on the broadcast is like, what were the umpires talking about for like 3 to 4 minutes? They were huddled up, trying to come to a decision about whether or not they were going to review something that should have been unreviewable at that point, I think. And they were trying to figure out, like, I don't know what their story was going to be. So like when they get questioned about it and, the umpire union comes out with their response, which I don't know if it happened, but I mean, there was just so much dead time. It had to be a 10-minute delay.
Yeah. So I finally got into the game and watched when Boone came out for the third time to argue because they weren't going to they didn't give Schmidt warm-up pitches.
That was the other thing that was absurd. Yeah.
Yeah. And that was like 10 minutes in, like you said. That was a long time after you were texting us like, wow.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
So weird. I just like, wow. I mean, just a crazy thing. Like, so weird. I mean, none of us can think, like diehard lifelong baseball fans, none of us can think of anything analogous to it. Just so weird. I mean, definitely memorable. We're going to fucking remember it. The good news is it's like I was saying before, it's April 12th. If this was September 26th, then we were in the thick of a pennant race. then it would be, I mean, just like, gosh, orders of magnitude worse, right? But
It would be like when Toddy and I were in the hospital after we gave birth to Arya, or after she gave birth to
yeah,
Arya.
Good save
And
there, bud.
yeah, I was gonna say our female
on
fans are not gonna like that. Okay, yeah, good picks.
on Sports Center, all they could talk about. So this is late January or late December,
Good
and
save
all
there
they could
again, bud.
COVID brain. Come
Yeah,
on.
COVID brain. Yes, true.
All
Yeah,
they
you
could
get
talk
some
about
grace.
was, is Jalen hurt? Hurt? Is hurt? Like that was the headline. They talked about it constantly. And then Franco Harris died the same day, and they had something else to talk about. But it was like that's how it would be, though. Like you said, Ethan, if it happened in September, toward the end of the season, then it'd be like, okay, now we can talk about it all the time. Whereas like nobody outside of Yankee people are probably going to be talking about this today.
Yeah, exactly right. Oh, one other thing, Franchi Cordero. I mean, we got to wait and see what keeps happening. But okay, so Franchi Cordero is this like random fucking journeyman who has not been that good. And of course, as we've talked about, Yankees Black Magic. So we sign him like on opening day or like the day before opening day. And this is amazing. Today he hit a fucking bomb and it was his fourth homer of the year. And last year they were talking about this on the radio broadcast. I didn't get a chance to text you guys this, but um, last year with the Red Sox, Cordero hit 9 home runs in 360 something at bats. And this year he has 4 homers with the Yankees in 20 something at bats already. Just amazing. Just amazing. Now, what I'm so excited for, well, here's the problem, is Mike Schur is no longer on Twitter. But Kyle, I know you remember. I don't know if Matt remembers. Last year, Mike Schur on Twitter, he did a ranking of Yankees players, and pretty much everybody is like a 0 to like a 1 out of 100, right? 100 being somebody he loves, 0 being somebody he hates. Harrison Bader was like a negative 800 because when Bader got healthy again and joined the team, he was just playing amazing. He was playing out of his mind. And Mike Sure, that's like the thing he hates most in the world, is when these random people join the Yankees and play out of their minds, right? And God, I'm so desperate to see what Mike Sure thinks about this. I'm hoping they talk about it on this week's podcast.
Oh,
They
they'll
got to,
definitely
right? They've got to.
Oh,
Because Mike Sure must just be going fucking insane. Not only because it's
yeah.
just another example, but also because he was a Red Sox last year. Like, what is Cordero's score right now in Mike Sure's book? Is he like a negative 2,000? Like, I'm so desperate to know. It's amazing.
Well, I just thought it was hilarious. I mean, he hit the cover off the ball in spring training, and the Orioles still let him walk. They were talking. Kay was saying today that the Yankees and the O's both wanted him in the offseason, and he chose to go with the O's because he thought he'd have a better shot of making the opening day roster. And they cut him, and the Yankees are like, "Fuck, we'll take you."
Yeah.
And look at what he's doing. Even if he gets sent down in 10 games, like, this is still great, right? This is still great.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Love it. No, I mean, I'll take this shit as long as it goes, right? It's the same as like with Carpenter last year. You know what I mean? However long, or like Shane Spencer back in, what was it, 98, when he hit all those homers in like a real short span? Any of these things,
Yep.
right? Whenever we catch the
Shelley
lightning in a
Duncan?
bottle, Shelly Duncan, the lightning in a bottle, fucking enjoy it. Enjoy it as long as you can. And then when it goes away, okay, fine. But it was great. It was great while it lasted. So
Interesting note, he's the only player in Baseball Reference with the first name Franchi.
that doesn't surprise me. Oh, and one thing, I know I already texted you guys this, but I feel like I need to say it on the pod. My brother, if nobody else, will get entertained by this. So John Sterling, the Yankees radio play-by-play guy, is famous for coming up with silly calls for individual players for their home runs, right? And what like for Brett Gardner, he would say like Gardy goes Yardy, right? For G, he'll say like a Stantonian blast or whatever, right? He has all of these calls. And today, I heard him call the Franchi homer. I was driving, I had it on the radio. And I didn't tell you guys this part, but Matt, did you have the radio on or no?
No.
Okay. It was hilarious. So I told you guys what the call was, but it was even better because what he did was he chuckled to himself audibly. He like chuckled. You heard him chuckle to himself. He went, ha ha. And then he said, "You know what they say." So he went, ha ha. You know what they say? You can bet the Ranchi on Franchi. And it was like you could tell he was just relishing like the whole entire thing. And it was like, oh my God, this guy is cheesy as fuck. But you know what? He's in his 80s and he's having a good time. So good for him. And it cracked me up. But the whole thing, it was just beautiful. Just beautiful.
Love it.
Yeah.
Good stuff, boys.
Kyle,
All
how are you
right,
doing?
well,
Should we wrap it up?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm fading quick.
you did
So
good.
you guys can close it out.
Okay, you did real good. We're proud of you for powering through with the COVID brain. So.
Hey, Ethan, what's in your mug? What's in
Yeah,
your
actually, I was
Dresden
going to say
Files
real
mug?
quick. I was going to say real quick. So Matt hooked me up with some beers at the game on Saturday, and tonight I am drinking some other half, of course. National Broccoli Day. Matt, have you had it? Yeah, and it's delicious. It's really, I like this one a lot. Really, really good.
Yeah,
And I had a Jackie O's last night. I meant to tell you the Endless Echoes. I think.
endless. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So, what do you think? Be honest.
it was good. I think I didn't rate it yet. I think I'll give it a 4. I liked it. Yeah.
So, so for the listeners, the Jackie O's is really well known for their Imperial and Russian Imperial stouts, and they do a bunch of like, they were one of the first breweries to do like a walnut stout. They do a lot of really deep, roasty beers, and they were purists. They were style purists for the longest time, right? They only wanted to brew like the traditional styles because that's what they enjoyed drinking. They thought stuff like pastry stouts and hazy IPAs were kind of just fads. But they kind of begrudgingly 4 or 5 years ago, like, shit, like we gotta start brewing some more of these adjunct stouts and some of these hazy because people like it, people like it, and they haven't been all that great. They're not bad beers, but they're just not that great. And I'd say Endless Echoes is the first one that I was like, all right, I think they're starting to figure it out. Like,
Yeah.
it's taken them a couple years, but they're starting to figure out. Like, they got the stout stuff figured out. They started doing, you know, cinnamon, vanilla, coconut, special beers. They still won't do the crazy pastry stuff where they put like chocolate cake, Dunkaroos, caramel apple, uh, you know, I don't know,
Yeah,
candy
yeah.
cigarette stouts. Like,
Candy
they won't do
cigarette.
that, but
Yeah.
they are trying to add more adjuncts because people enjoy that more, right? So like, um,
Yeah.
people wanted them to do a s'mores beer, and they said, we're not going to do a s'mores beer, but we will do this beer with like this meadow foam honey that's supposed to be really marshmallowy,
Yeah.
and we'll add some smoked malt to it, so you get like a chocolatey smoked marshmallowy beer. It doesn't taste like s'mores, but it's our closest interpretation. So,
Yeah.
yeah, so this is, I'm a huge fan. I used to be a member of their club. You guys have seen me wear their hats before. I pulled back this year. I don't need more beer. I still probably have about 4 cases of the beer in my, more than that, probably 6 cases of their beer in my cellar right now. Um, and but it's weird because like 2 nights ago I had their barrel aged Stickle Alt, which is like an alt beer is like a German brown ale. Um, and like it was really good. It was a really good but like I'm one of like 4 people I know that really like alt beers, and as a result, no one brews them. So
Yeah.
it's one of those like, shit. I wish people could appreciate this, but oh well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah, this beer was solid. This was good. As far as the IPAs go, I don't think it was as good as like other half and monkish and
yeah, yeah.
the other IPAs that we drink, but yeah.
No, they're a solid B plus if they're
Yeah.
on their game, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But shout out to anyone who can get down to Athens, Ohio, or now their new location in Columbus. Jackie O's is definitely a good place to stop. Um, and they own a farm, they own multiple sites, they own like a bakery and a brew pub and a public house and their brewery, and it's just a cool place, really focused on the community in Athens, Ohio. And man, I miss those guys.
Yeah. Cleveland Matt. Love it.
Ohio Matt. Well, hey, no. So
Ohio
here's
Matt.
the beautiful thing was when I moved from Cleveland to Kentucky, I was about the same distance away from Jackie O's.
Oh.
It just was, instead of driving down Route 71, the interstate, I was driving like the Appalachian Highway, which was scary sometimes.
uh, oh man. All right, sweet. Well, we did it. We should let Colin go so he can go sleep and get this fucking COVID out of his system.
Yeah, that's probably good.
Yep.
Yeah, good stuff, boys.
Yep. Do your
Any shout outs?
Do your not for me.
No, not that I can think of.
Yeah.
What
Kyle,
do
do
you
your
want,
sign
Ethan?
off. Do your sign off. You're
Yeah,
sick,
I'll
so
let you do it.
let's let you do your sign off without any protests.
Yeah.
Wow. It doesn't even feel right to do without a protest. Like usually I'm just trying to sneak it in like we are. Can you hear it?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Blue white this weekend. Don't forget it.